Patrick.
Are we ready for this?
Yeah. You want to know what we're going to do today?
Well, what are we going to do today?
Overdrive pedal. Yeah, well, actually, we are going to be talking about this overdrive pedal today. It's going to be part of a 3-series thing that we're going to do. This is going to shock you. This is going to be shocking news to them.
It's
yes, shocking to you, isn't it?
It is. It definitely is.
We, Doug and Pat, are going to check out, besides this unbelievable overdrive pedal, we're also going to be doing in the next show the Kemper amplifier. That's a profiling amp. We did a profile of the Vox AC10. We also did a profile of a GA40. And then we plugged it in to the system using Jeremy of 5 Star Guitar, who owns this amplifier, and see if we can tell the difference between the Kemper and the actual Vox amplifier. And the third one is going to be Fender Makes Now, a series of amplifiers that are solid state that have the modeling technology of the original Blackface Deluxe Reverb and Twin Reverb. Jeremy loaned us the Deluxe Reverb, and we actually have a mid-60s Deluxe Reverb, and we are going to compare those two. So 3 shows. So we thought, because we're about the tone that we like, which is what? Old school tube amps. We just think they sound great.
Yep.
Old guitars.
Yep.
We think they sound great.
Old guys.
Old guys, we think they're great.
Yeah. Old girls.
Old wives. Well, I'm going to have to
dogs.
cut that one out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to pursue the same thing we're doing with pickups. Can they really sound like the old stuff? Not a compromise, but can they really do it? So we have that, what we're going to be doing in the future, and then today. Let's look at this. I was in London back in the spring, as you know, and I met up.
Big Ben?
Yeah, it was all covered up.
Yeah.
You couldn't see it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're refacing him. Or
Yeah,
something.
they're fixing it somehow.
Oh.
I guess it was off.
It's about time.
I digress. Where were we? Oh, that's right. Who are we? So I met up with a guy named Simon Keats who has a company called Origin Effects. He is in a suburb of London, and this is an effect pedal that is being used by a lot of big-time players. And there are also a number of videos about it from really, really good sources, including Simon. He has one where he talks about the pedal, all the workings of it, and then guys who have done a lot of demos showing lots of different ways that you can use it other than what we're going to do today, which is the reason we're doing it today. Let's take a quick look at it. It's 2-sided, so it looks like it has a whole bunch of knobs on it, doesn't it?
Looks complicated.
It's got a bunch of knobs. It's got some switches down here. It's got some switches back here. Let's break it down to something simple. It's 2-sided. This side and this side are the same, except for one thing, is that because it's emulating the sound of a non-master volume amplifier, a la Marshall, Tweed Deluxe, Blackface, AC30, whatever it may be, they're going to have a rectifier in there. Rectifier converts AC voltage to DC voltage, and it can be a huge effect on the sound of amplifiers and how it processes signal. This side is the silicone side. Silicone meaning solid state rectifier. This one is a tube rectifier. They sound different. The tube one actually does a pretty poor job of converting AC to DC, and it sags slightly. It holds back voltage, and we've all heard that if we play on those amplifiers. That's what this side is. That's what's this side. Here are what the knobs do. It has a volume. It doesn't say gain, it says volume, because in the old amps, it had a volume. You turn the volume up. It doesn't have any master volume. It is the master volume. One volume, you turn it up. It has lows, which are bass. It has output, which is you can boost the signal. So you can not only get an overdriven sound of a variety of things, but you can boost the signal and use it as a transparent boost if you want. It has a blend control that goes back and forth between the overdriven signal and the dry signal. Then it has two very interesting knobs that to me are the most interesting thing about it, besides the EQ settings. One of them is, it is a knob all about negative feedback. Ooh, we're going to get technical. You want to write any of this down?
No, I don't.
I don't mean to be negative about it. It's too late. Negative feedback, from what I get, because I might make up some stuff here,
Okay.
is they take this output signal and they feed part of it back into the amplifier, and it holds back some of the signal so that it doesn't distort as soon.
Okay.
Older amplifiers,
Sounds great.
yeah. Wonder if you get a shock off of that.
That's
Older amplifiers, like a Tweed Fender, don't have that. They can break up sooner, and it's that transition between overdrive and clean sound that is a little bit more accessible. You can control that in this pedal, and you can also control the presence control on it, which is like the presence control on a Marshall. Then you have the last thing, which is if you take an old tube amp like a Twin or anything and crank it, you start picking up these little odd overtones that are happening in there called ghost tones. This pedal emulates that also. It's all analog. All the components are in here, are all analog. It's processing them everywhere from the power supply to the tone circuit. So it is highly flexible, but can it sound like a tube amplifier? My recommendation would be to run it probably through an amplifier that you already like, right?
Yeah.
Start there.
Yeah.
Let's not do that. Let's run it through an amp that is a good amp, but, well, it's a blackface deluxe reverb. I wouldn't use this amplifier instead of my Vox because I like more of a overdriven sound. I would go for more for Clapton Beano than I would, Sultans of Swing sort of thing, Mark Knopfler.
Donny Osmond's guitar player got a really good sound on that one tune.
I don't like that sound that much. What was he using? A cranked 100-watt Marshall Plexi?
Something like that, yeah.
It's
It
a good
might have
amp.
been a high watt. I don't remember.
But we're going to use the Blackface Deluxe, and we're going to plug this into it. You can also use it to record with, and which there are a number of these videos that are out there, guys doing that. Check those out.
This is the first time I've seen this pedal, like probably
Here,
many.
2.5 pounds. Want to hold it? Yeah.
No. And so I'm sorry, I'm just real skeptical. What market is this pedal designed for or to go to?
Who would use this?
Yeah.
Good question. Because it's $650.
Yeah.
I would say that this pedal is, here, Billy,
Is that Billy?
that's Billy's line.
No.
There's only one person that has that phone number down there, and that's Billy.
I'm not
And I'm
gonna
so
answer
sick of the death of him. I'm not even picking it up.
I'm not going to answer it.
I'm not going to do it, and you're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. I would say the people who are going to use this are going to be people, obviously, who are into more than one facet of overdrive. Studio, like let's say if you go, I want to take an amplifier into the studio or into my studio, and I want to be able to get anywhere from Kossoff to Brian May to all of these sounds. Do I have something that I can use to get me to that place? In this case, the price of this would probably make sense. Because it's two-sided, you can switch back and forth between the two. So let's say if I had it set up for, I want to use it for like a Tweed amp, and then I want to go over to Clapton's Beano for playing solos, or any variation of what that would be. Using it in the studio, you could run it into an amplifier and mic it with only one amplifier, which is what we're doing today, only one amplifier. There are also videos of guys that are using it to get basically any kind of overdrive that they want to get using a cabinet simulator program. And those are really interesting videos too. How flexible do you want? Is this going to be for the average guy who's playing a club? I don't know. I mean, $650 is a lot of money for doing that. But the proof still, don't you think, has to come down to what does it sound like?
Right. Bottom line.
Bottom line. It has to sound good. It has to sound like those amplifiers, otherwise.
What's the purpose? What's the use?
And if you had a 100-watt plexi, would you turn that amplifier on 10?
I would, but money's no object in replacing transformers.
This is the reason. This is the reason why he's Pat. This is the sort of attitude right there. Me, not so much. Most of these amplifiers are in this room. They're not going to go to 10 because if they blow up and they don't, then we couldn't run them into the camper.
Oh, that's true.
Is that what you want?
No.
No, that's not what you want. So let's hear the first demo. Hi guys, sorry for the clandestine interruption here, but I don't want Pat to know that the first demo is going to be on the rhythm pickup on the guitar. I know. We never do rhythm pickups on the guitar, blah, 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 blah. But I don't want Pat to get upset because sometimes he thinks that we're going to play jazz, which is, you know, sort of like this. But we're not going to play jazz because we're doing an overdrive, but I don't want him to know, so... Anyway, back to the program. And we'll see if we can pick up a different sound. Let's hear that demo. So the first thing that I'm going to look for is I'm going to try and match up the sound of the amplifier with the reamp EQ. I'm going to use EQ number 1 because it sounds the most like this blackface Fender that I'm playing through. And so here's the sound of the Fender with the neck pickup. Sounds like a blackface Fender. So now when I kick in the RevivalDRIVE, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get the output about the same. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to get a little bit more top end, a little more top end clarity. So I'm going to kick in the bright cap, US side. I'll take it out. Put it back in. Now A-B it with the original. The volume on the guitar is about 8. As we know, when we turn the guitar up just a shade, on the volume control it gets brighter. So we know that about pots. So what I'm looking for is, can I play a rhythm that's kind of cleanish, maybe about 8 on the guitar, and not have it break up, and then control that extra amount of brightness from the guitar. Now I'm going to go on the RevivalDRIVE. I have the low, which is the bass. I'm going to put it a little bit less than what the Deluxe has because I want it to be a little... I have the Presence more control. This is like the Presence. A little bit up, just a shade up, and this is completely up to you as to where you would want it to be. The ghosting is off, and the blend control is up about 3/4. So I do have a little bit of the original amp signal in it. So bright cap on, a little bit of brightness on the presence control, and the volume, the output volume is pretty much matched up to the original. So when I'm strumming it, all depends on what it is you're looking for. Let's kick it out, and this is the sound of the amp. Much warmer, but I don't want so much low end because it interferes with the bass guitar. I want more top. There's more top, and I can control all that, obviously. If I want a little more bass, I can bring it back in. As I bring the guitar up, it gets a little brighter because that's what happens on the electric guitars on their volume pops. So this is more like a rhythm kind of thing. If I want to be able to turn the guitar down even more, I can bring the volume control up. This is like the volume on a master volume amplifier, right? I mean, on a non-master volume amplifier. As you bring it up, it brings everything up. I might want to use this if I want to play solos on this neck pickup. And so I can back it down. A little dirty. I kick it out, so you see that the gain level is way down. So this is totally controllable. I can get the highs, I can get the lows, I can get the gain, I can get the output, I can get the blend and all that stuff going. This is just on the neck pickup, which again, I'm always looking for a little bit more clarity to the neck pickup. I can bring the guitar down a little bit. I kick the RevivalDRIVE back in. Gives me a little bit of juice right in there to work with. By backing off by my playing, it reacts to my playing. As I'm more dynamic, it's more dynamic. This would be like if you're like playing blues and you want to be able to play on the neck pickup and then be able to do solos. Can you do that? It almost starts to sound a little bit like the treble pickup, doesn't it? But if we kick in the treble pickup in this setting, that sounds pretty good for the neck. What does it sound like? Let's take that pedal out, see what the amplifier sounds like. Try. So we have those choices that are going on there that allow us to blend in what it is that we want in order to get a little more juice out of it. This knob right here, the more presence control, is obviously going to give us less negative feedback. This knob gives us more or less negative feedback. So in this case right here, it's giving us the most amount of negative feedback with the cleanest, but we can also use a presence. And here, when we go the other way, we're taking off some of that negative feedback, and all of a sudden the amplifier starts to sound a little less like a blackface and starts to sound a little bit more like a tweed amp. Let's kick it in. Starts bringing some of that fun stuff. We would control the cleanness of it from the guitar. Almost starts to sound a little bit like a single coil guitar, doesn't it? So that's the neck pickup. I'm a little nervous about this because I actually don't really know any of these songs.
It's a learning experience.
Well, I know. I usually play in original music groups, so so if you guys, if I don't totally nail it, don't write me or anything, unless it's like, yeah, that wasn't that bad. All Right Now, played poorly by Doug.
I think it'll be okay.
It'll be okay. It's probably the singing and dancing that are probably going to be the bad parts.
That's always.
Okay. And I'm going to try to set this up as the amp that he used, which is a 100-watt plexi. Then, right after that, we're going to take a listen to it as I switch it to a JTM 45, which is actually the earlier version of that amplifier. And we'll see if we can pick up a difference on it. Let's hear that demo. So this is how Simon has it set up for the Paul Kossoff sound. He has the more presence control, which at 12 o'clock we have no negative feedback. As we move it to the right, the high frequencies are allowed through the negative feedback. The lows are a little bit more than halfway. Volume not that much. It's only at 9 o'clock, so it's about a third of the way up. Ghosting control is on. Of course, we're on the solid state rectifier side. Blend is all the way on overdrive, and the output's up halfway. Bright cap is at the Great Britain bright cap, like a Marshall. And the preamp is a Great Britain preamp, of course, in order to do the Marshall. So this is Paul Kossoff in All Right Now. This is going to be the JTM 45 rig. We're going to move over to the valve side on the rectifier. Volume up halfway, the lows all the way up. The negative feedback is at maximum, so this is the most amount of negative feedback, making it sound cleaner and tighter. Output is up, you can see where it is. It's about 10, about 2 o'clock. Blend all the way up, and some of the ghosting. Here we have the preamp is Great Britain again, but the bright cap is US. So it is supposed to be the earlier version of the Marshall 100-watt. And I'm going to play the same thing all right now, and then play some solos, and let's hear what it sounds like as far as sounding different from the plexi. Now we're going to see if we can get the sound closer to a tweed Fender. This is a complex sound, you know. They have those, let's say we're talking about a mid-50s, maybe a 56, something like that, when they had switched to the 12X7s.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of before that, 54, 55 back, they used the large tubes. They had a good speaker in them. You know, they had Jensen P12Qs, I think.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Good sound. So if you're using a speaker digital emulator thing, you probably could get one of those. You know, they put it on P12Q 1955. I don't know. In this case, we're not doing that. We're actually running it through an amplifier, the same amplifier. This would be the black-faced Deluxe Reverb. So we will be now switching over to the valve side, and we're going to play the Heritage again, but then we're also going to use the 1956 Les Paul Special with P90s, because we have to hear what would, you know, it sounds like with a P90 guitar.
So is this tweed going to be like more like a deluxe with a 112, or
Yeah.
more like so?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to say, from the sound of it, from listening to it before, it gets pretty radical. You know, it has a lot of compression. You know, that compressed sound like a P90 will do, where you just hit it and it seems like it isn't making any noise for a second.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like the tubes are blowing up. So we're going for a Tweed Deluxe. We'll go with Tweed Deluxe.
Okay.
Cranked. And let's see what it does. This is going to be Simon's take on a Fender Tweed amplifier. So we're over here in the valve rectifier, because they would have a valve rectifier. Volumes at this level. The low end's cranked. I'm going to mess with that a little bit. The negative feedback is reduced considerably. These amplifiers did not have negative feedback. The ghosting is up, as you can see, which will bring out some of those false tones. The blend is all the way on overdrive. The bright cap is on US, no preamp, so it's pretty crude. The output's about up a little bit over halfway. So we have a Tweed Fender amplifier. Okay, let's roll back some of the low end a little bit on it. Let's put it about right there. Now let's take a little bit of this negative feedback and roll it off even more. So basically we're adding more top end because the top end's going through the negative feedback, and we're pretty cranked on this guy. with the Les Paul Special. Let's hear what it sounds like without the pedal on. So this is with its on. I mean, this is in bypass mode. Sounds like a Les Paul, I mean a deluxe Fender reverb amp. This is the same thing, it's the tweed sound, now with the Les Paul Special. Pop the slide back on. To say the sound of that tweed emulator coming from the RevivalDRIVE sounded like that amplifier was on its last legs. Mm-hmm. It was it had so much compression coming from the sag part of the pedal. And the interesting thing is that when it is doing that, when it is going through the process of trying to convert voltage, which is what one of the aspects of the pedal it does, that's what a rectifier does, converts voltage. Because it's doing a not a very good job, when that voltage drops down because of the demand, right? Mm-hmm. It compresses, and so it doesn't get louder. And so here's a cool thing that on the drive, when it's doing that, the light that's on, not right now, but when it is on, and over here, they actually dim. And so it would be like you're looking at a light that's attached to the amplifier, and it's actually dimming, so you get that same effect, which is brilliant.
Is that like overloading the circuit in your house?
It's like overloading the circuit anywhere, except not as dangerous. Overloading the circuit in your house will result in what?
Ooh, the light's dimming.
That's right.
Blowing a fuse.
That's right. I think he's right. Maybe we could test that. Here, let's plug in a cord here and put it on your tongue. No, that was mean. Okay, next up is one of my favorite tones, and I think it's one of yours, which is the Clapton Beano tone. And in this case, I'm talking about the Beano. You know what the Beano is. Not Beano like
not
take
the
Beano.
The gas.
No. Yeah, not that tone. It's the one on the Beano album.
Did you know in Texas, real chili doesn't have beans in it?
What does it have?
It's chili without beans.
Well, it has meat in it, though.
Well, of course.
Okay, and then peppers.
Here's a guy that's been all over the world and he doesn't know about
chili. Oh, I know.
In
I'm just testing you.
No.
I'm just testing you.
Don't test me.
You just got back from Nashville.
I graduated from high school.
Yeah, but you didn't serve in the military.
I did too. I protected our northern frontier.
I'm just playing with him.
Yeah, he is.
Can we talk about the Clapton Beano sound now?
Okay, let's do it.
This would be my favorite
It's a gas.
thing that's on there is Hideaway.
Yeah.
And specifically that last chorus of Hideaway just kills. It's got that high ringing sound. This is really also the reason why Sunburst Les Pauls, now known as Burst, because people don't have enough time to say sun when they say burst, why they started gaining in popularity and in price. It didn't happen before that. It happened after that. this recording of Clapton doing Hideaway was really a game changer. So we are going to try to emulate that sound, playing the RevivalDRIVE through a blackface deluxe reverb.
And what did
That's
Clapton
on
use for an amp?
4. He was using, good question, Patrick. He was using a JTM 45 combo, known as a Blues Breaker combo now, with two 12-inch Celestion speakers. We don't know if they were ceramic magnet or Alnico magnet. No one knows because it was a transitional time.
It was Alnico.
You can hear it.
I can tell.
You can hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to try to play this solo a little bit the best I can, and then I improvise a little bit on it, and let's see what it does.
Okay.
Beano tone. Okay, so Clapton at the time was playing through a JTM 45 combo, so we can see that we have the volume cranked as he had everything turned up all the way. The lows are not all that low. This is negative feedback, but the high frequencies are bypassing that, so we should have a lot of treble on this. Output is about halfway up. It's pushing the amp. The blend control is all the way up. The ghosting is a little bit down there because these amplifiers would have had a 50 hertz slight ghosting sound going on with them. The preamp is Great Britain. The bright cap is Great Britain. And we are obviously on the valve rectifier side, as that Marshall that he was using would have been on. Here's a little snippet of that solo. Little messing around. Well, that was okay. I mean, my version of it, but I think the tone got really close to the Beano tone, considering it's a deluxe reverb that doesn't sound like that at all.
Kind of impressive.
I think what we needed to do next is we needed to see how it would sit in the mix with a track, right? So we've been hearing these demos without anything going on, and it gives us a lot very clear sound of what's happening without anything else interfering. But on the other side of it, how does it work if you actually were playing it in a song? So what we did, because we're geniuses, like those genius guys that we respect so much, and that you people respect so much.
Oh yeah, Peter and Gordon.
Yeah, Jimmy and Hendrix, I think, was
Chad and Jeremy.
Yeah, those guys.
Paul and Ringo.
Mm-hmm. Alan and Funt. I may be wrong on that one. I don't know. So we made up a track, just a little 3-chord instrumental thing to play along with. And I decided that what I would do is I would use a tone that is pretty close to the Beano sound. I kind of messed with it just a little. And to hear what it sounds like when I'm playing in the track. So it's just kind of an improvised thing. Then I should also mention that there is a smaller version of the RevivalDRIVE. Here's the reason why I'm going to say it. That looks like it's half. This one's 650 and this one's a little over 4. It has all the stuff on it except it doesn't have the ghosting function or some of the EQ switches, but it's got enough. So I set this exactly the same as the large one, and I played it again to see if it sounds the same. I can't remember if I played the same stuff because I can't remember. I'm just all improvising it off. So we're going to hear a little bit of this track called the Doug and Pat Are Geniuses jam, using the large Revival drive and then using the small one. There'll be a section in the middle. And let's hear what they sound like in the track, and then let's see if they sound the same. So that if you bought one or you bought the other, you would be able to get that sound, or at least the sound I got.
Let's see.
You want to hear it?
Yep.
Want to hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
No.
Let's hear it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so that was the demo stuff on the Revival Drive. I have to say again that, you know, we're going after a particular sound. We're going after classic PAF humbucking guitar. We're not playing a vintage guitar because I don't know all those many people that actually have one besides you. But so that's why we're using the Heritage, and we're using it through the Blackface Deluxe. The other videos that are out there, Simon Keats, you can look that up. He runs through everything on it. He's the guy that designed the pedal. So he just has, I think, 1, 2, 3 videos of it, something like that. And other people that may, if you're looking for different sounds, if you're saying, well, I wonder if it does this sound. Well, I wonder if it does this sound. Because Doug and Pat, like, they always like just do the same sound because, you know, they just like are old, you know, old and stuck in their ways and all that. And we go, yeah. Mm-hmm. So you can go and you can hear other people doing other things with it and get a good detailed description of it. The big one and the small one. Hey, you know who else I ran into in London?
Who?
You remember the Monties of London pickups that we did
I
back
do.
in a humbucking shootout? Came in a
Good
really
sounding
nice
pickup.
package. Yeah, great sounding pickups.
Yeah.
Ran into him. His name's Matt, young guy. Here's a picture of him with, you know, hanging out and talking. We did a little interview. Really into designing pickups. You know, his pickups that he makes, the one that he sent to us. He makes a couple more, but he still makes that one. He also makes a kind of cool, sort of fun little gifties that I get for traveling the world and being not Pat, is it's fingerboard oil.
Oh.
Yeah. And you know what else it goes for? You can use it also as a smelling salt. Here, try it.
Oh, boy, that's nice.
Yeah. So, Matt, Monty, thanks for that. It was really fun seeing you. Really great seeing Simon on and doing the show.
How long were you there?
I was in London for a week.
Oh, did you go to Abbey Road or Carnaby Street or any of that fun stuff?
No, I was in the hotel watching TV.
Jeez.
But I'm going back.
Oh,
So
when?
I don't know. next year. I think next. Actually, I'm going back next year. Going to be in London again. Coming up in our continuing thing of showing how modern and objective we are, not stuck in our ways like some people have implied. The camper amp is next with some cool profiles. Let's see what it can do. Let's see what it can do. And then the Fender Deluxe Reverb modeling style amplifier. Let's see what it sounds like compared to the real deal. Hey, you know, you can go to our website and you can get Doug and Pat stuff to wear, not unlike this. T-shirts, large logo, small logo, long sleeve, small logo only. And, of course, the Doug and Pat hat with the logo on it. You can go to our website and see where all the shows are and stuff like that. So you just got back from a long road trip, too. I'm not the only one that travels. Where'd you go?
I took another drive about.
How many miles?
A little over 8,000. What?
You had to probably stop and put gas in the Doug and Pat limo
we did
a couple of
times. Went through Nashville, went up to Dave's guitar shop in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Pretty impressive.
How many Les Pauls does he have there?
Oh, man. On the main floor, 100 of them. On the second floor in his vintage collection, there's, I don't know how many. He's got 300 or 400 guitars up there that are all vintage and
are they for sale?
Condition. No. But if you ever want to go to a museum, Songbirds or Dave's, those are the two places in the country.
What about the 100 Les Pauls that he has on the main floor? Are they for sale?
Yep. All of
them.
They're
new. They're reissues.
New reissues, R9s, R7s, all that, and he had just gotten a load of 20 more when I was there. So, yeah, it's pretty impressive. Huge store.
Let's get back. Where'd you go in Nashville?
Went to Rumble Seat Music, went to Gruen's, and went to Carter's again.
Wow.
And all three of those places are just booming. You know, that then again, just about one of everything that you can imagine, from Explorers to, Flying V's, Sunburst Les Pauls, everything, and they are all for sale. So.
Killer. That's fabulous. I'm going to go to Nashville sometime, I think maybe in April.
Oh.
Want to go?
I don't know. You got some boots?
You do. Probably loan me some.
Got some boots in that.
Not everyone wears boots there.
Yeah, they do. They're all cowboys.
Joe Bonamassa doesn't wear no damn boots.
He's from California.
He lives in Nashville, according to his accountant. 51% of the time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Did you see that documentary, Burns documentary on the cowboy stuff? It's
super impressive. Cool. I really enjoyed that a lot. I learned a lot about that.
We were all in that area, all the way from West Virginia to Kentucky, Tennessee, and we just kind of soaked it all in. So
that's fabulous.
Now that's what I want to do when I grow up, is be a country music player.
You let me know when you're going to leave so I can have the logo redone.
Well, no, use the same logo, but just put a cowboy hat on it.
Well, groovy. Anyway. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Doug.
And I'm Pat.
See you next time.
Bye.